Welcome to this video. We will talk today about Raspberry Pi. So we'll be doing some installation and configurations on our new Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a computer, but it is very small, like credit card size. If you look at the credit card size, and Raspberry Pi will be the same in terms of the size, and it has number of important functionalities which can help with Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and many other more things. So this Raspberry Pi I have is a Raspberry Pi 3B, and it has 4 USB ports. It has an Ethernet connection. It has a built-in Wi-Fi, audio output, and it supports HDMI, and the number of pins where you can use to connect sensors. I have around 16 different sensors for different things like motion and vision and other things, which we will try to use them in the next videos. And it requires, of course, you need to power it using a 5-volt and 2 ampere power supply. Usually the phone USB power supply should be fine, but the important thing, don't use the device itself to power other devices through USB, because you need that 5 voltage and you should not add that much, use too much from that 5 voltage. So you need a power supply. So we'll go through the steps of installing it. We'll get to know more about it, and then we will see how we do the process. So would like to introduce you to my Raspberry Pi. As you can see, it's very small. It's like a credit card size, not bigger than a credit card, and it has a few ports here for USB, as you can see. And there is a network Ethernet connection, and on the other side there is HDMI audio, and then also there is the power connection. It has so many circuits, as you can see, and this can be used to integrate it with other sensors. I have around 16 different sensors that I'm planning to be using through this video. So these sensors will be connected through those different connections. You can stack more than one, and you can create a more powerful machine. You need an SD card, and the SD card goes here in this place, so we'll put it there. And I have my SD card ready, which I'm going to format. This is my SD card, which I think 128 or something gigabyte. So I'm going to format it, and in fact I will remove it from here and put it into the Raspberry Pi. So the next step, I need to put this SD card into my computer, and in my computer I have place here. I can put the SD card there, and then I'm ready to start downloading and installing the operating system. We need an SD memory SD card. We need 8 gig, but if you have more, will be better. So the process has 10 steps. They're very basic steps. First step, you need to format your SD card, and you need to make sure you format it as MS-DOS FAT, and then you need to download the operating system from Noob's website. Then we will extract it, and then we'll copy the files inside that folder, not the folder itself, but the files inside the folder, to the SD card. We'll eject the SD card, plug it into our Raspberry Pi, restart the computer, connect mouse, first connect mouse, keyboard and screen, then start our Raspberry Pi, and then you will find the step-by-step process to go to do the installation. So we'll follow that. You will see how we do it from beginning to the end. We're adding one more step. We're installing VNC server to allow us to access the Raspberry Pi device or computer from any other computer or tablet or anything. I will do that step as well. Our next step is now to install the operating system. So we put the SD card there. We need to go now to the disk utility of Mac, and the disk utility, you will find it into applications, and then you will find utility here, and then you find the disk utility here is it. So you open it. Now our SD card is Raspberry, so we'll click on that one, Raspberry Pi, and then I'll click on erase. You need to make sure you select the fat. Okay, so you do fat and then you say erase. Now everything there is gone, so you can see it did flash again. And now what we need to do, we need to install the operating system. First step, you need, this is a nice website, you go to it, raspberrypi.org. You will find the download there, and there is a video explaining the steps similar to what we're doing now, and then you will find what you need to do. So we need to download the operating system here. I click on download, then I'm getting these two options. One is the noobs, which out of the box, as you read here, and it has everything and it's very easy to install. And then Raspbian is another version, which is the official one. You will get more operating systems, and you will be able to do the download and do whatever you want to do. There one here for the PC. If you have a computer and a Mac and you want to experience the same thing, you can also download that one without having your Raspberry Pi. I will go with the noobs now. So click on the noobs, and then we come here and get, there is the light version and there is the full version. We will go with the full version here. So we'll download it, and it will start downloading. It will take 2 hours to finish that. So I will stop recording. As soon as it's completed, I will resume, then we will continue doing the installation. So the file being downloaded, so what I need to do, I'll go to my Finder, open the folder, double click on this one to extract the files, because you cannot just use the zipped file. And then you go inside this folder. Here are the files that we need. So next thing, I need to open my SD, which I did call it Raspberry Pi, and here I select all files that I have, Control A or Command A, and they move these files here. Now files being copied to the root. You noticed I did unzip the file, go inside the folder, and copy the files from that folder. If you copy the folder directly, the main folder, noobs folder, it will not work. You need to go inside the folder and copy the files. So your files should be on the main surface of your SD card. Great. So this is done. This is what I have in my SD. So I can eject the file and say eject, and it's ejected. Okay. So now ready to remove the SD card from here, and just take it from this one. So here's the SD card. Now before you handle or touch your Raspberry Pi, you need to touch any metal. So you ground yourself. You remove any electricity or static electricity from your body by just touching metal, and then you can start looking and touching your circuit. It looks big on the screen, but it's very small. It is the size of my credit card or your credit card, and you can compare it by looking just at this USB converter. Anyway, so looking at where we're going to put the memory, here is the memory. So you take this one, this is our ST, and then I'll just add it, install it there, and now it's in. So it's that. Now the next thing I need to do, I need to connect a keyboard, and here is my keyboard here, and the mouse. Here is my mouse. So what I'll do is just connect the keyboard and mouse to any of the USB slots I have here. I can put this one here, and the other one which I can just put it here. So this is done. So the two USB are connected. The other thing, I need to connect my screen, my monitor. I need to just make sure it's switched off before I do that. So let me just make sure it is off. Yes, it is off. And then what I'll do, this is my HDMI, and here is the HDMI. So I go and just connect it there. Okay, so that's good. The next thing, I need my network, and here is my network. I'm using cable, but there is a Wi-Fi in this device. I can just use the Wi-Fi if I want, but I'm going to connect the cable. The last thing you do is you power your Raspberry Pi using any of those power supplies. Phone one will do sometime, but we need something that gives you enough voltage. Anyway, so you power it by putting this one here, and you do it. One important thing, you cannot put your Raspberry Pi on a metal surface. Why? Because this electronic circuits, and once you do that, you will short the circuit, and then you will burn your Raspberry Pi. Basically, started flashing, and you can see coming on the big screen some configurations, which it's going through that one. Wait for it. Now what I will do, I need to select, I will go with the first one, the recommended one. There's so many versions here, as you can see, but I'm going with the main version. So select that one and hit install, and now it will start installing. By the way, this SD card which we used, we will not be able to use it to store files later on the computer. We should just make it dedicated for our Raspberry Pi, and it will be used to do that. So now the installation will go through. Once it's completed, we can resume. So we are almost there. Now it's 100% completed. We're just waiting for it to say done, and then we move to the next step. What I will try to do, I will try to install a VNC server on it, so I can access it from my computer. I don't need to be using keyboard and mouse on the device itself, which I can do. If I want to continue using it as a desktop, I can continue, but usually the Raspberry Pi, you will have it on the network connected to some devices, and you control it remotely using your computers or other programs that you write. So that's what I will try to do after the installation is completed. So now we have this message saying OS installation successfully. So we just click on OK. So now we're getting our first screen, and it talks about some information. We need to decide our location, our language, our time zone, and these things which we will configure when we want, but I'm not going to do it now, just we'll do it later. We can change it in the future. Change the password. I'm keeping the user as it is, but just changing the password. Okay, so password is changed. Doing something, searching for Wi-Fi. There is my Wi-Fi, but I'll skip that one. I don't want the Wi-Fi because I already have my Wi-Fi. So I have just fixed the localization. I selected UK, but I am in the United Arab Emirates, but I can fix that one as soon as I'm ready to start using the system. Now this happening now, I'm taking a video from my iPad, so you don't see a nice resolution maybe on the screen, but once I install the VNC, I'm working directly on the machine. The next videos will have a high resolution hopefully, and you will be able to enjoy it. It is now installing the update, and now system up to date. So click on that one and click reboot. So now it has restarted and rebooted. There are programs you will find, Office application, internet, programming languages, and many things. You can start using it like just a normal desktop, and it will work fine for your basic desktop work. Fine. What I'll do now, I need to install, as I said, the VNC server. The VNC will help me connect and do more things directly from my computer. Anyway, this is the browser. Now I need to go to the terminal. You click on this one here. You get the terminal, and this is the terminal that I'm going to work with, and we will be doing some Linux command, and we'll talk about it in more details in the future videos. But now just we need to get our VNC server installed. So I'm running some update. Usually when you start installing any software, you need this line of code, which basically asks your Raspberry Pi to update all the software and make sure you have the updated version. So you start by sudo. Sudo is changing to the super user. So you'll become the administrator, or what they call it in Linux, the root user. So that's how it works. Now if you run this one, it will start doing some update and ensuring that all our applications are up to date. That's one step we need to do, and the next step we need to install our server. So sudo apt get, and we would like to install, so the command install, and what we're installing is real VNC, and then I need to install real VNC, and I need also to have dash VNC. That's how it is. And then I'm installing the server of it. Okay, and real VNC. I'm watching the keyboard and typing at the same time, so I'm having some challenges with seeing my keyboard and making sure the video is doing right. Okay, so This is the full command viewer. So this is the full line of command, basically installing VNC server and VNC also. So there should be here a dash. Yeah, so I'm installing VNC server, and this should be VNC. So installing VNC server, this is the one, and also installing the VNC viewer, which will allow me to access another VNC server, another machine. So if I have another Raspberry Pi, or I install VNC on my Mac or Linux, other Linux machine, I should be able to also access it from the Raspberry Pi. So this is going to do the setup. Will ask me, do you want to do that? I'll say yes, and then it will continue doing what we wanted to do, is installing VNC server for us. So it download, unpack, and then start installing everything. And once it's ready, we'll get a message that it is ready. So the next step, we need to enable it. Now we did install it, but is it enabled or not? So if you want to enable it, we need to go to the menu here, we need to go to our preferences, and we need to go into configuration, Raspberry Pi configuration, and then you will come this one, and you will see some of on the interfaces there is VNC. So click on that one and say OK. Okay, so my VNC is enabled and ready to start using it. So how I can use it, I will switch to my computer, Mac computer, install a VNC viewer, and then access this machine, and you will see what will happen. Now after I do that, I do not need to connect the mouse and keyboard to the Raspberry Pi. I can just remove them, and also the screen, and this way I'll be just working directly on the device using the VNC server. One thing I didn't remember to tell you, that I need to know what is my Mac my IP address. So I need to find IP address, and you do if config, and then this will go and find you your IP address, and this is my IP address, which 5.30.158.102. There is another way you can do it. You just can use hostname -i capital, but that's this is on our Mac machine, as you can see, and I can now install VNC. Just go to any browser and say VNC viewer, and then you can go and find the VNC viewer for Mac and then install it. Yeah, so you go through the setup and you do that. Now I already have it. When you get there, these are all the different versions. So VNC is available on everything almost, so you can go and download. I already downloaded it and I have it here, so I double click on it, and what I did, I made a connection to my Raspberry Pi. If you double click here, it will start trying to connect. It's saying the password is wrong because I changed the password. So I can come here now. Basically I put the IP address of the computer, and the port is 5900, so colon 5900. The user is Pi. I can add another user later, and then I put the password that I created. So do that, and now I should be able to connect, and I'm getting the same screen that on both computers. And if I record this one using my Mac, and here is my big screen which connected to the Raspberry Pi. Anything I type here, it will appear there as well. So if I am here writing anything, it comes there. So the same thing. So this way I can control the Raspberry Pi from my computer, and I can shut off this screen, remove the mouse and keyboard, and this device I can access from anywhere. In fact, on even outside my network, I will be able still to do that, because my address which I'm using is a registered address which allow me to have access outside my network. So I'm not using 192 or 10, the private one. I'm using a public address. So this way I'm able to access it from anywhere, and I can work on it even on my iPad and do all the programming things I need to do. So now we're done with the whole process, and hope you find the video useful. Thank you for watching.